Hello everyone, this is Joel from Real Talk, and I'm here back again to talk about Marvel Phase 6, official new saga in the MCU. The first one was the Infinity Saga, of course, with Thanos. This all concluded with the Infinity War and with Endgame. Avengers the Kang Dynasty will be coming out on May 2nd, 2025, with Avengers Secret War concluding it in November 7th of that same year. A lot of room in this phase and in between these movies for new projects, for other projects that actually weren't, filmed and weren't released, that weren't promoted, like the Armor Wars project that was going to be coming up with Don Cheadle possibly. But I think that might get moved into either this phase or phase 5. But I think it's more likely in phase 6, especially with phase 5 a little more quote-unquote phased out. Another project that I'm very much interested into seeing where it's going to fall is Shang-Chi 2. The first Shang-Chi was really good. I enjoyed the origin story that they put with him. The characters that they introduced in this movie were pretty funny, were really relatable, and I think that's something that Marvel's going to take into this phase. They're really going to bring down these characters into street level, but also introduce grander themes like the multiverse and Kang, and obviously, the Secret Wars invasion is going to be looming. Another thing that I would keep my eye around is in Spider-Man 4. Obviously, we had No Way Home come out. It was a huge movie. Lots of fans enjoyed it. It was a great reunion of other Spider-Man characters and other Spider-Man villains. But I think it's time to take that character, like I said earlier, in a more street-level direction. Kind of we saw him in Endgame, No Way Home, messing with keeping him grounded, keeping him in college, and keeping Tom Holland like bouncing off regular human beings is the best approach, because it makes your character much more relatable, in my opinion. There's strong rumors of Doctor Strange 3 coming out, and we saw in the Multiverse of Madness, the introduction of incursions. I think Doctor Strange getting a third movie only makes sense. We just got Charlize Theron casted as, of course, Clea, and so I'm very much interested to see where his character and Clea's character are going to go, because both of them are very much connected into the incursion storyline. I think there's a romance also included between the two of them, so seeing where Marvel and the MCU is going to explore in that direction, I think it's going to be extremely fascinating. We saw the introduction of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, so I'm very curious to see if he's going to be staying on or if they're going to sign somebody else to play the role in the future movie. We know for a fact that Kevin Feige told us that it's not an origin story, so I'm very much fascinated to see the casting, the story, the director. John Watts is probably not going to be back for that project, although Marvel Studios is going to try their very best. But I think that the movie is going to be an important movie because it reestablishes a lot of things for Marvel. And there's rumors of Spider-Man being included. So being such a big project within this massive phase is going to be vital to find the right director and the right vision to do it. But Kevin Feige is the man to do it. So I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room, that being mutants and X-Men. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see where they're going to introduce these mutants, because we know these mutants. We've seen them through different iterations, through comic books, through cartoons, through movies. So having them reintroduced into the MCU is going to be very important, and I know Kevin Feige is going to probably do his best on this, but having the X-Men join into the grander MCU universe is going to be a huge undertaking, and I do not envy Kevin Feige, but I kind of do, because the possibility of bringing Wolverine and having him interact with Spider-Man, it's just such a large catalog of characters within their own right. The X-Men has always been their own corner, and I think bringing them into the MCU is going to be a massive undertaking. One thing that garnered my attention really throughout this Phase 4 process was the idea of the Young Avengers. We saw Scarlet Witch and her children introduced in WandaVision early last year. We have Kate Bishop already in the MCU. We have Yelena Belova also in the MCU. So we have a lot of different characters that we can introduce into this. So let's talk about the two biggest movies of this. I'm going to talk about them briefly because I believe both of these movies deserve their own separate video, because there's such a large dynamic. There's such a large storyline to tell with both of these. Much in the MCU fashion, I think they're going to add their own spin on everything. I think they're going to retell certain things, certain characters. I think people will be pulled out in comic books and been other people pulled in. And I think that's going to lead us into the Kang Dynasty. I think the Kang Dynasty is going to have very much to do with the events that happen in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Because if you've seen my other video talking in Phase 5, I think that movie is going to go in a darker direction. And I think ultimately Kang is going to take the life of one of our favorite heroes in that, just to show how severe and how ruthless of a person he is. We saw, of course, in Thanos, in Infinity War, his first kill was Loki. A lot of people like Loki. Even at that time period, people gravitated to his character and Tom Hiddleston's portrayal of the role. And having Thanos come in and kill him right off the bat, I think it's something that sets the tone right for the villain. I think Kang needs to do something very similar. We're going to see his ultimate ascension over the MCU and eventually into Secret Wars. ultimately breaking the multiverse and having the superheroes from different universes having to come and reset everything back to normal. We might get a Captain America from a different universe, we might get Tobey's Spider-Man, we might get Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, we might get Tom Hardy's Venom. There's just endless opportunity in Secret Wars. It's something that's going to be even bigger than Endgame and Infinity War combined. So let me know in the comments what you're most looking forward to in Phase 6. Please let me know what project leaves you most excited and what project you want included into this. Let me know in the comments below. This has been Joel from Real Talk. Thank you and have a good day.